Hi, today we're looking at some questions from Pearson Edexcel Functional Skills Maths Level 2 January 2018 paper. And we're going to start off by looking at question 3. So here's question 3. There is a special offer for tickets to the entertainment park. We've got this table here and it shows us the price of tickets depending on if you want a 1-day ticket, 2-day ticket or a 3-day ticket, and then that's split by adults, the juniors and the children, and we've got all the prices in the middle. We're also told buy your tickets in January and get 37% off the total price. In the Smith family there are 2 adults, 2 juniors and 1 child. They want to buy a 3-day ticket for everyone in the family. They buy the tickets in January. The Smiths also want to book a family room at a hotel for 2 nights. The family room costs £143.97 per night. What is the total cost of the tickets and the family room for the Smiths? And this question is worth 5 marks. So that means we're going to have 5 things that we're going to need to do, or 5 steps. So I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, the first thing we're going to need to start thinking about, what are the costs for the individuals? Okay, so we need to get the total cost, but what about for adults, juniors and child? So we want individual costs. Okay, well, they all want 3-day tickets. So actually what we can do straight away is put a line through the 1-day tickets and a line through the 2-day tickets, because all we care about are 3-day tickets. Okay. Once we've got the individual costs, then we'll need the total cost. Okay, that's going to give us the cost for all of the tickets. But remember, if they go in January and they do buy the tickets in January, so it's when you buy the tickets. So if they buy them in January, they're going to get 37% off. So we're going to need to reduce by 37%. And that will give us the final cost of the tickets. Now, as well as the tickets, they want to buy a family room. So we're going to need to work out the room. And that's for 2 nights. And then we're going to want total tickets plus hotel. That's going to give us our final answer. Okay, so let's start working this out then. Well, the individual costs. We've got 2 adults. Adults are £130 each. So we're going to need 2 times 130. I'm just going to put that in brackets to show that we're doing that on its own. Now, as well as 2 adults, we've also got 2 juniors. So that's going to be 2 times £95. And then we've got 1 child. So that's 62. Okay, so let's get our calculator. Okay, so we're going to have 2 times 130, which is 260. Let's put that in our memory. Then we're going to have 2 lots of £95, which is 190. And we're going to add that to the memory, so memory plus. So now if we do memory recall, this £450 should show the total of 2 times 130 plus 2 times 95. Now all we need to do is add on £62 and we get a total cost of £512. Now we've got this reduction, so we've got 37% off the total price. Now some people won't like me doing it this way, but it's great practice if you can get used to it. So what we're saying is, if it's 37% off, well, off of what? Well, the full price would be 100%. So if we take away 37%, well, what are we going to be left with? Well, 100 minus 37 gives us 63%. So when we're saying reduce by 37%, yes, you can work out 37% and take it off, or you can say, well, actually, what we want is 63%, or 63 over 100, times the full price, which is 512. Okay, so we've got 63, divide it by 100, and then multiply it by 512 to give us £322.56. Okay, if you don't like doing this step, then work out 37% and take it off, but you'll find that you get exactly the same answer. And if you don't, then something's gone wrong. Now we want the room for 2 nights. Well, the cost of the room is £143.97. So we're just going to double that and multiply it by 2. And we get 287.94. And so the total price, well, it's going to be those two numbers added together. So 322.56, which gives us £610. Can't leave it just 0.5 because it's money, so we have to put 0.50 or 50p. And there's your 5 marks. Okay. Now let's have a look at question 4. Well, actually, this is question 4, part B. We're going to go straight to part B. Tina wants to buy a different coin. The price of the coin is £850. And there are 2 payment options. So it's going to be one or the other. So option A is to pay 1/5 of the price as a deposit, and then 12 instalments of £65.49. Or option B, pay nothing for a year and then pay the full price and 13% interest. Tina wants to use the cheapest option. Which option should Tina use? Show why you think this. So let's move this up here so we've got a bit more space. Again, we've got 5 marks for this question, so quite a few marks there. So we've got to think of 5 marks. That's 5 things we've got to do. Well, we've got 2 options, so we're going to have to work out the price of both of these. And actually, we know what the last thing's going to be because we've got to make a decision. So we're going to be, I'm going to write the last step already. We're going to be comparing our prices. And I can put prices of A and B. And make a decision. That's going to be the last step. Right, so now let's go back to the beginning. Option A, pay 1/5 of the price. So the first thing we've got to do is calculate the deposit, or 1/5 of £850, because that's the original price. Okay, well, that's part of the option A. We also need the 12 instalments. So calculate total instalments. So you can see, although it's a 5 mark question, I'm splitting it down into tiny sections. We're just dealing with option A at the moment. So calculate the total instalments. So that's going to be 12 lots of £65.49. And then when we've got these 2 costs, we can get the total of option A. So we'll add these 2 answers together. Okay. Then for option B, well, we just need to increase the original amount by 13%. So increase price by 13%. And then we'll have 1 answer for option A, 1 answer for option B. We compare and make our decision. So let's go to step 1. Calculate 1/5 of 850. Well, 1/5, we can do that with the calculator. So I'll do 850 times 1/5, or 1 divided by 5. And that gives me £170. Then we want our instalments. I'm going to put that in my memory there. So 12 times £65.49. That's £785.88. We want the total of those, so if I put that in the memory recall, we've got these two answers added together, which is £955.88. If you're not comfortable using the memory buttons, just add these two together separately and you'll get that answer. Okay, increase price by 13%. So this is for option B now. Now I could do a sort of a compound interest type increase and multiply. So what we could do is we could do 850 and multiply it by 1.13. So 1 represents 100% and 13 is the 13%. Now I know some people might not like this or might find that difficult. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to work out what 13% of this is. So let's say, let's do it up here. So 13% is going to be 13 out of 100 times 850. 13 divided by 100 times 850 is £110.50. Now if we're increasing by 13%, we then need to add back on the original amount, which gives us £960.50. Okay. Now I just want to show you that if I did this in one step, I could do 850 times 1.13 and it gives me exactly the same answer. So it doesn't matter which way you do it, but we're going to get an answer here of £960.50. So we then need to say, well, which is the cheapest? Well, option A is £955.88. Option B is £960.50, which is cheaper. Well, 955 is less than 960. So we're going to go with option A. And now we're going to have a look at question 7. In fact, this is question 7, part B. So Cora also organises a fashion show at the venue. She must work out if the room is big enough for the fashion show. This is a diagram of the floor in the room. So here. So we've got some measurements, not all the measurements, but we've got quite a few. Cora allows 1 metre squared of floor space for 2 people. She thinks there is enough floor space in the room for 60 people. Is Cora correct? Show why you think this. We'll get another 5-mark question. So that's going to be another 5 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully this is starting to feel natural to you, this working out how many steps you and how much work you're going to need to do for each question. Well, we're going to work out basically how many people can fit on this dance floor. So we're going to need to do some area calculations. Now, I don't know a way of working out the area of this shape, so what I'm going to have to do is split it up into smaller shapes. So I'm going to split into rectangles. Okay. In fact, we can do that now. So the easiest thing for me seems to be to chop that straight down there. Okay, so now we've got a rectangle and another rectangle. So we can then calculate area of rectangles. So sometimes I like to write all of the steps first and then do the calculations. This time I'm going to do it as I'm going. So we're going to say, okay, well let's work out the area of the rectangles. And the area of a rectangle, which I'm sure you all know, is the length times the width. Let's draw. So that's the length, that's the width. I'll do the length down there so you can see it. Yeah. Doesn't matter if we want to call this the width and that the length, it really doesn't matter. Okay, but usually we would say the length is the longest one. Okay, so the area here is going to be 2.2 times 3.1. So 2.2 times 3.1, and that gives us 6.82, and it's meters, because its area is going to be meters squared. So now we need to work out the area of this rectangle as well. Okay, so length, well, we haven't got this measurement here, so we're going to have to work it out. We have got this measurement all the way across, so both of these, and we have got this bit. So what we really need is this here. So it's going to be the full length, the 6.7, take away this bit here. Yeah, because we're not going the full length, we just want this bit. So if we do 6.7 minus 2.2, we get 4.5 meters. So now we can work out the area as 4.5 times, well, we know this distance, or this length, we've got 5.8. So 4.5 times 5.8, and that gives me 26.1, and again that's meters squared. So we've got the area of the rectangles. Now we want the total area. Well, that's going to be my 26.1 plus my 6.82, which is 32.92, and that's still meters squared. So we worked out the area. Now we're trying to work out the number of people. I mean, the last step that we're going to do is going to be comparing how many people we think can fit with the 60. So this step, the penultimate step, is going to be, well, how many people fit? Okay, or calculate the number of people allowed. Well, she says she allows 1 meter squared for 2 people. So if we've got 32.92, we can want to multiply that by 2. And that's going to give us 65.84, and that's going to be people. Now obviously you can't get 0.84 of a person, so we're going to say 65 people. But even so, Cora thinks there's enough space for 60 people. Well, 60 is less than 65, so if there's enough space for 65, well then there's definitely enough space for 60. So is Cora correct? Yes. And that's our last step, is compare answers and make decision. And this last step is often going to be exactly the same as this. It's always going to be, well, not always, it's often going to be that you need to have 2 numbers that you're looking at. And you've got to remember not just to stop at the numbers, you've got to answer the question, is Cora correct? Yes, she is. And we've shown exactly why, and we've shown where every single mark comes from. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. please like the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure your settings are on so you get your notifications when I load a new video, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you.